Great. Okay, good morning. Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're up to Perek Lamed in Shmuel Aleph, second to last chapter in the Sefer. Pretty exciting. Mendy, we have to start preparing a seal, okay? To get the subcommittee ready. We have to make this is very, very special. We've been learning Sefer Shmuel Aleph for about a year and a half. So it deserves something special. Where are we up to? David HaMelech was just told to go home. The Jewish people are in the middle of a war against the Plishtim. David right now is living amongst the Plishtim, and he's on their side. And Achish, who is like David's, commander, and David's living in his territory, says to him, "Come to the war." And Achish says, "Come to the war. You'll fight with me." And Achish is very excited about this because David is an unbelievable warrior. The other Plishti people are not too keen on David helping. There's a little bit of a back and forth, but ultimately, at the end of the day, David and his 600 men return home to Tziklag. And that's where we pick up. And if there ever was a story, a narrative in Tanakh that we can very much relate to, all of Torah, we have to think about how does it connect to our times, to our lives, to our days. This is one chapter that very much is relevant. My Rabbi David Miller, who's the Rosh Kol of Gross, a day or two after October 7th, gave Divrei Chizuk, or just shared thoughts. And most of his thoughts related to this chapter in Shmuel. Vahi bevo David va'anashav Tziklag bayom hashlishi. So it took them 3 days to get back from where they were at the front lines. And now they went back home. 600 men. We mentioned this earlier in our learning, that it wasn't just these men were there, but now they have wives. They have children. And they left them to go to war. Va'amaleki pashtu el Negev ve'el Tziklag vayaku et Tziklag vayisrafu osa ba'esh. The Amalekim were there while David and his men left. They attacked the entire city of Tziklag and burnt it down to the ground. Vayishvu es hanashim asher ba mikaton vi'agadol lohimisu ish vayinhagu vayalchu ledarkam. They then took all of the women captives, and they didn't kill them, but they took them captives and they brought them back to their city. So a few hundred women, if not more, were now taken captive because David and his men were away. The Radak points out, Ki anashim lo hayuba, ki im David halchu. The reason why they're able to so quickly take so many people is that there was nobody protecting them. There were no guards outside. There was no men there. Then, especially then, men were the warriors. Nobody was there to protect them. Therefore, they came in and they conquered the city. Because there was nobody in the city that can get up in arms and fight against them. They came in with ease to attack the entire city. Vayavo David vanashav el ha'ir. V'hine srufa be'esh u'neshehem u'v'nehem u'benosehem nishbu. So while the other pasuk mentioned only the women, as the men walk into the city, just, close your eyes. Imagine you were one of those individuals. And you walk back into the city. The city is completely burned down to a crisp. and your entire family is missing. You assume everybody's taken captive because you don't see any bodies. And since you do not see any bodies, we assume every single person was taken captive. So I'll ask you, what is your reaction? And it might depend if you are David or if you are David's men. No, what do you think would be the reaction here? Or reactions, I should say.
Well, after shock and sadness, probably want to try to go get them back.
Shock and sadness, and then want to get them back. Okay, excellent. I think that's the very human condition right now. Vayisa David v'ha'am asher ito es kolam vayifku ad asher ein behem koach livkos. They raised up their voices, right, to cry. They cried so much to the point that they couldn't cry anymore. Somebody mentioned to me yesterday that they couldn't cry anymore. They haven't cried in weeks over the hostages, and they feel that there's something wrong with them. At a certain point, this is, again, every single person is so different, but for this individual, they cried so much, it's almost like that emotional bank is missing. And not that we forget, God forbid, about what's happening, but it's so hard to be on that emotional level for so long. And David's men cry. Ushtei neshei David nishbu achinoam Yisraelit v'vigal ishes naval Carmeli. It didn't matter who the wives were. David's two wives were also taken captive. Vatetzar leDavid ma'od. Now David was very nervous. Why was he nervous? Ki amru ha'am l'saklo. The second reaction was anger. Who are they angry at? David HaMelech. They wanted to stone him. Ki mara nefesh kol ha'am. They are so bitter. They're hurting. It's so hard. Ish al beno v'al benosav yischazek David b'Hashem u'be'elokav. Very realistically, they want to hurt David because it's David's fault. David, you left everybody alone. You were so excited about, or you felt you had to listen to Achish. You couldn't leave 5 people. We left our whole families unprotected. What are you thinking, David? What are you thinking? Were you thinking? You don't realize there's so many enemies that want to get us? You have a target on your back 24/7. V'yischazek David b'Hashem Elokav. David's only reaction is that David draws strength from Hashem. Says, what does that mean? He draws strength from Hashem. Hashem's not a person. But he draws strength from Hashem. Vayasam, this is the Radak. Tochal Tobo. Visapek al hara'ah. David placed his confidence in Hashem, and he leaned on Hashem for guidance in getting everybody back. Vayomer David el Evyatar Kohen ben Achimelech. Remember, they had Evyatar with them, who brought with him the ephod, the Urim V'Tumim. Hagisha nali ha'ephod. Bring me the ephod. Vayagesh Evyatar to ephod al David, who brought it to him. Vayishal David b'Hashem lemor. The David now asks Hashem what to do. They live in a time when they have the luxury, opportunity, zechus, privilege, convenience of asking Hashem what to do. I mean, Shaul, right? This, again, in the meta picture here, Shaul did this two prakim ago. He asked Hashem, and Hashem didn't respond. Hashem didn't say no. Hashem ghosted him, right? Here, David asks the ephod, and he says, Erdof acharei hagdud hazeh ha'asigenu. Should I chase after them? Will I be successful? Vayomer lo, and Hashem responds, Redof, go after them. Ki haseg tasig, vahatzel tatzil. You will get them, and you will overwhelm them, and you definitely will save everybody. Right? There are two questions. Do we have the ability to catch up to them? Will we find them? And even if we do, will we be able to be successful in our mission? And Hashem says yes. Hashem says emphatically, sorry, I'm not. Hashem says yes. Okay, pasuk tes. Vayelech David hu v'sheish meos ish asher ito vayavo ad nachal habesor v'hanosarim amadu. They went with the 600 men, and they went to a little river named Nachal Besor, and they waited there. What do they mean they waited there? Is that David now learned a lesson. You can't bring all 600 people to war. Right now, they don't have human beings with them, but they have a lot of property. So what they want to do is they're going to leave 200 men behind with all of the property, all of the spoils, everything they have. They had those men wait there. V'shamru es kalehem. When you go to war, right, if you're carrying too much things, then it's very difficult for you to be successful. Vayimsu ish mitzri basadeh. Now listen to this. There's no GPS. There's no drones that can like take pictures or satellite images of the area to figure out who left your camp at whatever time you were missing, and now where did they go? Let's track their footprints. No. So they try to figure out, based on ancient technology, how they'll catch up to them, which way would they go, what makes sense, who lives here. Vayimsu ish mitzri basadeh. They found an Egyptian man. Vayichu oso el David. Vayitznu lo lechem. Vayachol vayashuku hamayim. They found an Egyptian man just around in the field. He was lost, he was hungry, and he was starving. They gave him raisins, they gave him food. And now he's back to normal. They found a man who was probably starving and hungry and on the run. For 3 full days, this man had not eaten bread or water. They gave him tea. David, who do you belong to? And where do you come from? Where are you coming from? I'm a Nar Mitzri. I come from Egypt. But I am an Eved Ish Amaleki. I am a slave. Right? We discussed on Thursday. Are you a slave or a servant? If you're working for the Amalekim, you're not a servant. You're a slave. Vayazveni Adoni ki chalisi hayom shlosha. My master abandoned me. Why did my master abandon me? Because I got sick. Now, listen to this. My master, I got sick. I'm not feeling well. I had the flu. I got sick. So what did my master do? He left me to die. You're useless to me right now. You go ahead. I'll find another person to hold my stuff and clean my things. I don't need you anymore. Anachnu hashatnu negev akresi v'al asher liYehuda v'al negev kalev v'al tziklag sarafnu beish. And he says, parenthetically, as he's talking, Mesiach lefi tuma, we would say, we raided the negev of the Kresim, it's probably old, and near Yehuda, the negev of Kalev, I guess, like they named the city after Kalev. That Siklag, and they burnt Siklag down to a crisp. Vayomer loved David. Hatorideni el hagadud hazeh. David says, "Can you please bring me there to show me where this battalion is?" Vayomer hishava li be'elokim im timiseni im taskireni bi'araduni v'oridcha el hagadud hazeh. Can you bring me there? So he said, I will, as long as you swear to me that you won't A, kill me, B, return me, right, as if I'm property, to my owner. And if you do that, then I will follow through and show you exactly where they are. We see here, like we just contrasted David and Shaul, but we're contrasting now the Jewish people and the Amalekim, how you treat people that don't belong to you, that are not part of your sphere. That here, they're not Jewish. They're outside the Machana. Here, the Amalekim, the servant gets sick, let him die.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
I have a question. In Pasuk Tet Vav, when he says, swear Belokim, and this is a Eved Mitzri, is he referring to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, or is he just saying, swear by your God?
It's a good question. He's probably means swear by your God, whoever your God is, swear in the name of your God.
Thank you.
It might have been obvious that they were Jewish. They probably had beards. Quite obvious, to a certain degree, they probably was obvious from that perspective. But we see here again the humanity between the Jews and the Amalekim here. They see somebody starving. They're on a mission. They're in the middle of a war. Why are they going to help this guy out? You help somebody out in the middle of a war? What? That's crazy. That's not smart. Maybe he's a plant. No, we help people out. That's what we do. That's part of our mission. Second, part of a broader thing, maybe you can put this in a list. We'll see that David has many interactions, on a one-to-one basis with Gentiles. And we'll see it's a very positive, generally, except if he's fighting against them in a war, but generally very positive. He has very positive relationships with Gentiles, which we don't always see any interactions. Avraham, he had a few with Aner, Eshkol, and Mamre. Beyond that is very, very little interaction throughout Tanakh. Here we see it playing itself out. This man brings them in. What are they doing? They're partying. Why are they partying? Because they have Jewish captives and they have all these spoils. They took from the Plishti cities at Siklag and from the Jews. They're so happy. But they didn't realize that David's waiting an attack. Vayakim David mehaneshef yada erev. David attacks them the entire day. למחרסם ולא נמלט מהן איש, כי אם 400 איש נער אשר רכבו על גמלים וינוסו. David and his men, 400 men, attack them. They are able to kill everybody, except for 400 young men who were able to run away on mounted camels. If you ever rode a camel before, it's like a hard one to understand. Camels move very slowly, but most likely they were so busy with everybody else and trying to get their captives that the other people, the other enemies, were able to run away or get away, even though it took longer. David was able to save everybody and also his wives. Usually, right, we would look out for our own first, right? Our own people, my cousin, my sister, they were taken captive. I'm going to look for them first. David made sure that everybody was found, and it also happens to be that his wives were found also. David returned everything. What a nace. What an unbelievable nace. That everybody, men, women, and children, were able to be returned safely to their homes. They had a lot of animals there. Again, Amalekim were attacking every other city. So they now took all the spoils from the Amalekim that they took out, and David now brought that back to them. Vayavo David el Masayim Hanashim Asher Pagru Milechas Acharei David Vayushevim Benachal Abesor Vayitzu Likras David Likras Ha'am Asher Yito Vayigesh David Es Ha'am Vayishal Lehem LaShalom. So David now, they don't stay there too long. They take their wives, they take the children, and they return back. Where they go back to? Nachal Besor, that river that they were at. They go back there because that's where the 200 men were. Vayan Kol Ish Ra B'li'al. Now you have a common issue that can come up in war. When some men go into battle and other men stay back with the stuff. But the men that came back in battle, they come back with a lot of spoils. Who keeps that spoils? Do the men that stay back, do they have any rights to those spoils, to those items? David. Vayomer yain asher halochu imi lo nitan lehem eshalal asher hitzalnu kim ish v'ishta es ishto v'esbat avina gulelechem. So a group of men in David's chevra got up and said, they don't get the stuff. They didn't come with us. They didn't risk their lives. Get out of here. It's ours. It's enough that we got them back their families. Vayomer David lo tasu kein achai. David disagrees very strongly. We are one army. We're one battalion. We're one group. What they did is just as important as what we did. If they didn't do theirs, and we would have to bring all our stuff into war, we're at risk because we're thinking about our stuff while we're going out to war. They were able to give us a peace of mind that everything's taken care of on the home front. This way we can go ahead and do our business. So therefore, who's responsible and who gets the spoils? Everybody gets equally. And David makes a new rule on the books for David's army. Who gets? Everybody gets equally. Everybody has different skills. In the time of war, everybody needs to be in the right position. If one person is not in the right position, then everyone else might be at risk. So David now made a law for his time and until today. So they went back to Tziklag right? And they gave out the shalal from all these cities. It's unbelievable. Now the Navi is going to tell us what cities they were able to take shalal from, right? Sorry, they took shalal for themselves, and then they gave spoils to Shevet Yehuda. They gave it to the Zikne Yehuda as a gift. David's part of Yehuda. They gave it to them as a gift. David wanted to really show them. Maybe there's rumors that are spreading now about David and living in Plishi territory, that he really is still on team Bnei Israel, and he didn't leave the fold. And this just further proves it. He gave to Beit El, Ramos Negev, Lasher Biyater, Lasher Ba'aroer, Lasher B'Shifmos, Lasher Be'eshtemoa, Lasher Berachol, Are HaYirchme'eli, Lasher Are Keni, Lasher Bechorma, Lasher Bevor Ashan, Lasher Ba'atach, Lasher Bechevron, L'chol Makom Asher Hisalech Sham David, Huvan Hashav. Right. So anywhere where David's men went, they're able to get spoils. They went ahead and they win this. They win this war. Okay, and they were able to share with everybody else. And miraculously, mamish miraculously, David and his men were able to successfully bring back every single hostage safely, soundly to their families. Okay, Bezrat Hashem, and Bezrat Hashem, this story should be Mekuyam for us today. For us today. We should continue like David HaMelech to be Mischazek Hashem Elokav, to place our hope in Hashem. That means that we continue to daven and we rely on Hashem. Hashem could do anything. And just like he split the sea, he can also bring back all of the Chatufim.
I mean, so.
Okay. Wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.